That moves nicely. That's it. That's Army of the Dead. It was bad. Let's talk about Marvel Zombies.
Is there a virus infecting your system?
All the Avengers are dead. And they're coming for us.
All right, we got a world to save. Namor.
Shit.
Oh my God!
That's what the people came here to talk about.
Which okay. So I've never read the original comic book run, and I don't know much about
This
it.
is nothing like it. Just a-
But what I was gonna say, I don't understand. So Wanda seems to be like, which I in the What If episode, she was like a monster, like she was
Yes.
zombie. She didn't
Yes.
have her faculties.
Yes.
In this, she seems to.
Yes. There's a line of
I
dialogue
don't.
where she's.
I don't understand what her end goal is.
No, that's it. Okay. Okay. Where do we begin with this? Number
I know
one,
I know what she says her end goal is,
but yeah,
I don't.
Yes, that is a criticism I have of the ending of this show. Number one, yes, it's nothing. The big thing in the Marvel Zombies comic is they gain I think it's like the intelligence and the abilities of whoever brain they eat. So at a certain point, they eat. I want to say it's either Galactus or
Silver Surfer.
Silver Surfer. They eat their brains, and they all gain the power cosmic, and they all travel the universe, eating the brains of the entire Marvel universe. So that's what ends up happening in the comic. I'm pretty sure I might have messed that up, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
This feels like they were like they're heading in that direction.
It's not as far off as you would think, but it's not exactly
because
the same.
like the Nova people are quarantining the planet, so like yeah, it feels like if there's a second half where we get four more, it feels like in that second half, Wanda gets the power of the stones, breaks quarantine, and then they go after the rest of the galaxy.
Maybe,
So
yeah.
it doesn't feel like them going after the galaxy is that unlike, but I just don't get. So
Do we do the First of all, we're not
I
gonna do a
don't get
plot.
what
We're not
her
gonna do a plot by plot breakdown of this thing. We might touch on the plot a little bit here and there, but this is mostly gonna be general thoughts. I think is what it's gonna end up being, questioning the mechanics of this. Number one, this is definite, and we know this. This was a news story I had that I cut one time, but this was gonna be a movie. For years, this was gonna be a movie, and the only reason it's a show is so they could use Spider-Man.
interesting.
That's the only reason why it's a show. It has the same pacing as a movie. It plays like a movie. I pretty much watched it as a movie.
Yeah, I watched it all at once.
The number one thing about this is that's very apparent is that animation takes a while. Number two things. It's the same thing we said about What If. Animation takes a while, and they clearly thought a Blade movie was going to be out by now.
They also just thought that the Phase 6 characters were going to be far more well received.
Phase 4, but whatever.
Because this says Phase. This says what phase does
I think
this
someone
page?
pointed out that
Anyway.
technically the Shang-Chi characters are Phase 3, but whatever. It doesn't matter. Those numbers are meaningless. But yes.
Yeah, no, this says it's part of a Phase 6 of the MCU.
Then that tells me that those phases are ultimately meaningless. No, but the characters that like Shang-Chi and Miss Marvel, I believe, were introduced in Phase 4. But regardless, it doesn't matter. You've already said it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Anyways,
it thought those characters would be more popular than they are. Is the point?
Yeah, and they're not because I didn't know who two of the girl characters were.
Really?
I knew that. I obviously knew that the one that used the
oh yeah, you would know Riri Williams.
I knew that she was girl Hawkeye.
Yeah.
But like I don't know who she is as a character.
No.
She hasn't been in anything.
That's the thing is this show does that thing where it's like they just skips over a bunch of shit and they're just best friends without doing any of the legwork to make them best friends.
And then there was the African American girl who I thought was Captain Marvel's best friend.
Oh, I can see why you would think that.
like I had no idea who she was. That's who I thought she was at first until I read this
Uh, I
Wikipedia article
I
where
compl-
I found where I found out that she was the girl Iron Man,
I
and I was like, oh, okay,
it yeah
wouldn't have got that.
it assumes so many of the characters from that portion of the MCU. It assumed because obviously when they made it several years beforehand. They assumed that those movies and shows were going to be more popular than they were because yeah, the guy. Did you get that Captain Marvel was fighting the guy from the Eternals?
No.
That yeah, when they're endlessly fighting, I had no idea that she was fighting him. I had no idea who he was. And it's the same thing when Namor shows up in like the third episode and just decimates half the cast. And I'm like,
I
who?
I only
What
recognize Namor.
is Namor bulletproof?
I recognize him from like comics and stuff. I was he in a movie?
Yeah, he's the bad guy in the second Black Panther movie, which we've definitely seen.
Okay, I'll take your word on that one. That just kind of proves the point that that movie is entirely
That's what I'm
forgettable.
saying, though. This show is like it does a
Um,
bit where he swoops in and starts murdering everyone, and the show does that thing where it wants you to be like, "Oh my God, the Submariner is murdering all these people," but I didn't really know who he was. So when they were shooting him, I'm like, "Wait, was he bulletproof in that movie?" Like it clearly anticipated that character either coming back in something or them doing something else with that character. Also, apparently he's a sex pest or he did some sex crime, so like he's apparently a bad dude or something, so that's why he's never come back. But they didn't know that when they animated the show, and like,
um, and so my thing also with this is like in the comics, each of the zombie characters is like autonomous and has their own thoughts
yes,
and stuff. In this, they're all being animated by Wanda.
no. Well, to be fair, that's what makes another thing that makes the show frustrating is their insistence that this was not connected to that episode of What If, even though it's very deliberately a sequel to that episode of What If.
I mean,
So if
it
you
is
haven't
so
watched that
there.
episode of What If, you're screwed because there's so many details the show doesn't explain. So like, yeah, I didn't rewatch it, but I watched a thing that basically gave a recap of it, and the zombie virus came from. Remember, the zombie virus came from the quantum realm.
Hank Pym journeyed into the quantum realm, searching for his long-lost wife. But in this universe, Janet Van Dyne contracted a quantum virus that corrupted her brain. Oof. That happened.
No, I don't remember.
Basically, when they rescued, the point of Divergence was when they rescued what's her face, the Wasp's mom from the quantum realm. She brought back the zombie virus with her, and she bit whatever. And the reason why, remember the point at the beginning where Captain America, they throw half of Captain America? That's because he got cut in half in the episode, the What If episode.
Sure,
And
but I'm saying in this episode they seem to be or this show they seem to be controlled by Wanda.
no, well, not all of the zombies are controlled. I think she can control the zombies, but
Isn't that
not
why they
all
have
of
the Isn't that why they have the red eyes? Is because she's using her powers to
the
control them?
ones that have red eyes she controls, but she at least as of the original one, she doesn't control all of them. No, she just controls. Well, I think at this point she controls all of them because she has the power to by the end of it. But like, no, she doesn't create. This is still the same universe as that episode of What If. So no, she didn't create the zombies. No,
No. But I more meant like she's controlling them in this.
no.
And well, she is.
She's controlling certain ones.
She seems to be controlling them all.
Yeah,
Um,
the point of this is that she's building up an army of ones that she can control. But again, I don't think she controls, like, she controls most of the superhero
my
ones.
my
is the
my
point,
question
though.
is more just
But
why.
that's
Like,
the thing is her
because she
motivations
seems
are
to
murky. They're so murky.
she seems to be like human levels of consciousness. Like she
Right?
seems to be aware of what's going on. So is she genuine? Is she trying
The
to,
show
to
can't
restore
decide.
people?
It flips on a moment
Or
where it's not made well enough for like where you're like, wait, like is she telling the truth? And the ending, we're gonna get to the ending, but the ending is bad. The ending is bad. It's a bad ending.
there is no ending, it just stops.
It's a bad. Of course, I don't know. It depends on who you talk to, and whether or not it's supposed to be the ending or not. But this made me realize I hate time skips. I hate time skips because that second episode is brutal. It's brutal. it starts off with you're at the start of it, and then it cuts to 6 years later, and there's no what's the word I'm looking for? There's no development. So friends are just friends. Relationships are just there. So like it cuts to, what's his face? Shang-Chi gets the rings, and then it does hard cut, and then just what's her face can just use the rings, because I'm guessing in the script for Shang-Chi 2 that the people who made this show had clearly seen. There's clearly more with that character that we haven't seen, but from my perspective, it's just like, wait, how come she could just use the rings? Like, how do the rings work? But there was clearly...
Aquafina's character, you mean?
Yeah. She could just use the rings. There's no explanation given to how she can use the rings. There's no, like, she can just use them. She just can expertly use them. There's no time devoted to her learning because there's no time to.
My big problem, one of my big problems with this show,
it suffers from all of Marvel Television's problem where it's too short.
Yes. I mean, okay, yes. Ignoring all of the standard problems that these shows have, specifically to this show, the biggest problem that it has, in my opinion, is it needs to pick a main character.
Yes.
Who's your character?
Well, I don't 100% agree with that.
And then follow. Well, even if it's like the 3 main or the 4 main, you need to pick who your group is and stick with them, because they spend. Fair. They spend like 2 episodes following Captain Kamala Khan and Girl Iron Man and Girl Bo, and like we follow them, and then it cuts and we're all of a sudden we're Spider-Man and Ant-Man and we're with the people and
it's a sequel to the episode of the show. Yeah, exactly.
So it's like,
and then they just disappear.
If you're gonna make it about Kamala Khan and them, and they're gonna be the focus, you need to stay with them, follow them. That it's their story. If you want it to be about Spider-Man and Captain Ant-Man,
more Ant-Man's head and
Ant-Man's head, Spider-Man. If you want to follow them and have it be a buddy thing with those two, which would have been a very fun show. That would have been great. But then you need to focus on them. That's the main problem with this is it's the tale of 2 shows, and that has everything to do with the fact that they've tied it to the what if thing.
Yeah.
If they wanted to not be the what if thing, then they needed to not have those characters and just follow Kamala Khan in that.
Well, that's it's not even that it just. There's a lot of good shit on this show. Like Red Guardian, David Harbour, as always, fucking
they're
phenomenal.
Fun. You can tell he's having a blast.
He puts there's so many times where I'm like, man, it's a shame this is an animated show, because when he loses Yelena, it's heartbreaking. It's heart wrenching. Like, we're gonna sandwich some positives in here and to say that the fact that characters can go at any moment, no one's safe. Anyone can die at any time. It's random. It's bloody. It is so violent. It is amazingly violent. It's like I said when we talked about the trailer. I won't lie to you and say it's not sick when Spider-Man pulls off 5 zombies' heads with a bunch of spider webs. It is awesome. And yeah, there's some sick when Submariner comes in and just rips Zemo in half. Like, it's sick.
It's violent.
Awesome.
It's gloriously violent.
It is gloriously violent.
The glorious violence is, only so good. You need to have decent storytelling with it. And what makes this show frustrating for me is I see the skeleton of a really great show, great, I saw the skeleton of a much better movie. 12 episodes, longer show. I see the skeleton of it, or movie. It could be a decent movie too. But point being, I see the bones of something better than what we got.
There's too much convenient,
which
shit
is really
for the
really the
fact
summary of all of these things.
I mean, yes, it would have been a better movie, but no, there's too many. The thing.
I don't know that I agree with that.
Would have been a better movie.
I don't know that I agree with that.
The main problem with this is so much of it needs to happen quickly. So, the first episode is entirely about Kamala Khan and them, and then out of nowhere, the second episode is about Shang-Chi and them, and then just conveniently, they run into each other that was the raft, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, they just conveniently run into each other at the raft, and without any real establishment, are best friends because we know these characters and we just assume that these characters would be friends. But the show never, and the MCU generally never does the work to actually make them friends. They just show up and pretend like they've been friends the whole time. But it's like, but no, you've never otherwise had a conversation with these characters. Infinity Hulk. Oh yeah, okay, we're gonna spoil the shit out of this. It turns out that
Spoiler warning. Spoiler warning.
Big ol' spoiler warning. Big ol' spoiler warning. Big ol' spoiler warning. I already said too much, but they do the sequel. There's a lot of continuity problems with this show. They want to be like, oh, X thing didn't happen because the snap didn't happen, but like for example, someone's like, oh, Peter is older. He's an adult in this show because he didn't get his growth didn't get stunted by being put through the snap. Although no, I guess it is 6 years later. So no, yeah, I guess it would be. Yeah, we would be in it. Never mind. But it's stuff like why isn't, and I couldn't remember. This is where it being connected to that episode of the show is frustrating, because like at a point Wasp shows up, and it's like a giant zombie, and Ant-Man's like, Janet, and you're like, what? And if you didn't watch the show, you'd be like, why is he having this emotional, or if you didn't watch the What If, you'd be like, why is he having this emotional reaction? Or like, why is Captain America zombie cut in half? Or like, none of this stuff is like explained. And it's like, if you're gonna be a sequel to that show, be a sequel to that show. Like, don't pretend like you're not. Anyway, it turns out that in this universe, they did the Thanos shows up at Wakanda thing, but in this universe, for some reason, and I don't remember if they explain it in the original What If show why Thanos is a zombie, but Thanos is a zombie, and there's a big fight between zombie Thanos and various members of the Avengers, and I think it's Black Panther beats him, and because it was around
Black
the time,
Panther pushes him into like the thing full of vibranium or whatever, and
T'Challa say, Wakanda forever, quietly, like he knew that it was the last time. T'Challa saved the universe, every single one of us.
causes a huge explosion with the Infinity Stones, and then Infinity Hulk is created.
And it was at that point where they weren't going to recast Chadwick Boseman yet, so Black Panther doesn't talk. But yeah, that sequence is really cool. That whole fight with Spider-Man throwing the fucking Mjolnir with, oh, good. When Thor is phenomenal. When he's fighting zombie
Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch, thank you. It basically just becomes a Dragon Ball fight. It's sick. It's really cool. And it's Ragnarok Thor. But anyways, yeah, it turns out that they create this big whatever chaos energy thing. In order to contain the energy, Hulk has to jump in, or Bruce Banner jumps in, because Bruce Banner always winds up as a weird version of the Hulk in these What If stories. But he jumps in, and it becomes the strongest version of the Hulk in existence, Infinity Hulk. And when Infinity Hulk shows up in the army of zombies, and it's Infinity Hulk fighting the army of zombies, that is probably some of the sickest shit in Marvel ever.
I mean, it's pretty dope.
Like, it is dope as hell. It's super fluid. The animations, like, they saved all the money for Infinity Hulk because it looks good. It is worth it. The entire show is worth it just for the shit with Infinity Hulk. Like, it is legit good. I saw someone say their theory is that Marvel did it as an apology to Hulk to make him cool again. It is super, super cool. But now we got to talk about the ending. So yeah, Wanda's motivations in this are confusing, and it's unclear as to, like, you know how, like, when you
She
watch
needs
it,
Kamala for some
she
reason.
needs Kamala for some reason, but it's not explained why. And like, okay, the thing about a bad guy in a movie, right? The thing about Wanda that's frustrating is she was a good guy at one point. So when she shows up, you're never quite sure what her motivations are. It's not like other things where when the bad guy shows up and he's trying to convince the good guy to side with him, it's really obvious that they're the bad guy. With Wanda, again, I think it's doing that. It's doing a similar thing with Wanda, where it's assuming that Multiverse of Madness was more popular and that people would be more attached or familiar with evil Wanda. Like, I think they thought that evil Wanda was going to be more of a thing. So I think you're not meant to trust her. I think she's meant to be untrustworthy, but Kamala on face value has no reason not to trust her. Like, up until that point in the Marvel Universe, Wanda's a good guy, and she's telling you, hey, apart from turning people into zombies, she's like, I need to turn people into zombies to get the Infinity Stones so I can fix everything, right? Like, she has no reason really not to trust her, other than she's turning people into zombies. But if it's for an altruistic reason, and if she fixes everyone and makes them not zombies,
She definitely had. There's enough plausible doubt there where it's like, okay, you could believe that you would want to at least hear her out.
right? Exactly. Well, okay, you know what? Yeah, exactly. Oh, she's gonna be like, I don't trust you, but she has no reason not to at least hear her out.
Well, yeah, she has reason not to, but
mean,
she also has reason to hear her out. So
exactly.
like, there's enough doubt there where you should at least have a moment of like, wow, okay, maybe we should listen to her.
Right. But then, okay, so then, yeah, there's a big thing where she gets the Infinity Stones. She's like, I need you, Kamala, and Kamala touches her. Also, there's a lot of sick usage of Kamala's powers. If I was a fan of Kamala, I probably wouldn't care for it too much.
I thought she had stretchy powers.
She does have stretchy powers, but in her show, it's energy based powers. You've seen all of these things. You know what her powers are.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
She has stretchy powers in the comics. In this, she has energy powers, which she can use to create stretchy powers. But she creates energy constructs.
Right. I forgot about that.
And there is some excellent usage of it in this, where she's just tearing apart zombies. There's some really excellent usage of her powers in this that are really fun and creative. I also wasn't bothered by the graphic violence in the MCU. I don't know why I wasn't really all that bothered by it. I feel like I should be,
Because it's not the MCU.
But anyway, sorry, the ending got
It's
distracted.
it's the MZU.
The MC, yeah,
The Marvel Zombie Universe.
I like it. Anyway, so yeah, Wanda's like, trust me, Kamala, I need your help, whatever. And there's a big energy blast, and you're like, well, it's Wanda. Like, if you know anything about Scarlet Witch, you know she says something and everything, big energy beam. You're like, okay, this is House of M, right? Like Wanda is capable of fixing the world. Like, she's capable of it. And so you cut, and she's now best friends with Riri and Kate show up, and they're gonna go have lunch, and they're best friends. And I'm like, okay.
And everything is normal.
Everything is normal, and I'm like, oh, is this how they're gonna soft explain when they eventually do Young Avengers and Kate Bishop, Riri Williams, and Kamala are all best friends? This is how they're gonna explain that, and there's not gonna be any effort putting into establishing the relationship. And then Riri shows up and is like, it's all fake, and then it ends. And you're like, what? Feels like
what do you mean it's all fake?
There's like one. This feels like like again. This suffers from the same thing every single fucking one of these shows suffers from, where it just starts to get interesting in the second to last episode, and it hits the last episode, and you're like, there's only one episode left, and there's no possible way they could possibly resolve this in the way that's ultimately going to be satisfying, and then it doesn't. And from what I read, well, no, I think Marvel has said there's definitely probably going to be a second season for this. I wouldn't be surprised if it turned out that there was another 4 episodes and this was originally 8 episodes, and you watch it and you're like, this was clearly originally 8 episodes long, and it's coming out next year. Okay, because King of the Hill, we didn't talk about the story on the show, but King of the Hill did the same thing, where they announced like 3 weeks after the first season came out that a second season was coming out next year. And if you know anything about animation, which Jordan does, you know, Jordan, that's
Not how animation works.
Not possible. You can't get animation out in a year unless you really half-ass it. That's not how
or if
animation
it's very
works.
cheap.
Or if it's very cheap. So if you have a show ready to go next year, that means that was originally what. So don't be surprised if next year they're like Marvel Zombies coming out next year, and it's the second half of this one season. I guarantee you. Or I saw some people imply that it's meant to be ambiguous. Did she fix the world or did she not fix the world? And is that just the residual effect of Wanda's whatever, and maybe things are normal, and like I've seen interpreted
And she has PTSD
or something, or yeah, like I've seen multiple theories that maybe it's meant to be ambiguous, and I'm like, God, I hope not, because ambiguous endings also suck. But once again, I'm gonna say this again: there is no such thing as an acceptable cliffhanger. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Okay,
Yeah.
good. You're not disagreeing with me. All cliffhangers are bad. There is no such thing as a good cliffhanger. Every single one is bad. None of them are good. They are lazy writing and lazy storytelling, and they're just the symptom of someone who cannot finish a story. There is no such thing as a good cliffhanger.
Now, that being said, it would be kind of cool if there's like a big battle scene or whatever, or there's a big scene in Infinity War, and Robert Downey Doom opens a portal, and the MZU opens up, and they all come flooding out, and you just see a bunch in real life.
That would be pretty sick.
You see a bunch of the zombie Avengers and all the zombie people come flooding through, and then like that's the army that they have to fight.
But like again, this was
Just
sick.
saying.
This was
Just
sick.
saying.
Like I enjoyed this. Like I
That would
feel
be
like I've
pretty
been
dope.
really negative, and everything negative about this show is just the stuff that's generally negative about the way they make television. And it's agonizing about the way they make television. But the content of the show itself is quite good. Like I full chest
That's where I
recommend
say-
if you're
that's
like an
where I
adult,
say-
don't show it to the kids. But if you're an adult, it's Kamala Khan
That's where I say
is the
I definitely
highlight of
see-
everything she's in.
I definitely see the skeleton of a better show.
I don't disagree.
But in terms of what we got, it's pretty good. And yeah, of the girl squad, Kamala Khan is the only good one.
I kind of realized I will watch 1,000 things with Kamala Khan in it. I love her every time she shows her and Shang-Chi. It's really really disappointing they didn't do anything with Shang-Chi. But this show definitely
Haven't done anything with Shang-Chi so far.
so far. This show very much expected him to be a way more popular character than he was. Maybe if not for the pandemic, maybe he would have been. Who's to say? But yeah, Kamala Khan is a delight. When again, spoiler alert, but when Kate Bishop in the first episode just gets vaporized, and you're like, oh, whoa, okay, it's gonna be that kind of show. Like when characters just out of the blue just get sliced in half, and you're like, oh, okay, no, yeah, that one's not making it to the end. Cool, yeah, no, that's brutal. That's a brutal death.
Also, ever since I listened to that one Moon Knight book where Moon Knight plays host to or Mark Spector plays host to Venom, I've kind of become kind of a Moon Knight, not fan necessarily, but I'm kind of digging stuff with him in it. So
that's another thing. Yeah, if you don't
I enjoyed seeing Khonshu in this.
If you don't know who Blade is, you're fucked. Because at one point you're like, wait, he's a vampire? What do you mean he drinks blood? Because they said, oh yeah, he drinks blood. And I went, oh yeah, right, he's Blade. Right.
Yeah.
I kept forgetting he was Blade.
He's not Moon Knight, he's Blade.
Right, he's technically Blade Knight is what is technically.
Whatever.
Yeah, he's
like
Blade.
I'm gonna take the time to remember a character who's never gonna show up again.
But yeah, it's like clearly they thought that Moon Knight was gonna That's just the biggest thing with the animated stuff. Like the only reason why I keep saying that is because I keep seeing frustrating posts of being like, why is Shang-Chi such a major character in the show? Or why is Miss Marvel such a major character in the show? And I'm like, because animation takes a while. That's
and
why.
they were gearing up for them to be.
Yeah. The MCU clearly thought they were going to be in a much different place, and this is just salvaged from what was definitely season 4 of What If. I guarantee you.
Sure comes across that way.
It absolutely reads that way.
Considering it literally continues the story from What If.
Exactly.
It feels like they were gearing up to, like, I don't know, do like longer episodes. So like having 4 episodes, and then having like 4 episodes of Captain Carter, and then having
Maybe, yeah.
feels like it feels like they were gearing up to have more episodes per season, and
'Cause,
then
I
they
mean,
got canceled.
Very much when we talked about What If, we said all of these episodes suck because they're too short, and if you had 1 or 2 episodes you were devoted to this, it would be much better. Turns out we're right. Like I
Right?
did not care for that Marvel Zombies episode, but this was way better. This was a
So
thousand
like
times better than
like
that.
here's what I'll say. The one episode of Marvel Zombies in the What If show wasn't enough. This isn't enough either because it's trying to be its own show. But if this was in What If as a
Yes.
series of episodes, it would be fine.
Well, I see. I don't know, because I feel like if this was in but it would depend, because like if I'm like on streaming as the way it was, no, I'd be like, oh my god, I'm tired of the zombies, I want to get on to the next thing. But like if this were a regular television show, yeah, absolutely, because you're coming back to.
I think it would work.
I'm not saying it wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work for me. This is one of those
That's
times
fair.
where it just wouldn't work
That-
for me.
That's fair. Like I would do it where it's like, yeah, you not every episode is Marvel Zombie, but you can have these 4 episodes spread among
spread
a
out
season.
amongst other episodes. Yeah, it keeps cutting back to them. Yeah, that would be interesting. But it
And
would
like-
be too dense for me to be 4 episodes.
and
in
then
a row.
and
I'd
then
be
that
like, okay,
way
let's
you
get through
can
this.
have other storylines which also continue in more of a continuing thing, and then you can also just have like there's the occasional singular episode which doesn't continue.
My
right?
theory
Like,
is also that
that's the frustrating thing with that show is it could have been better.
my soft theory is that because when that show ended, they were very much like, they're like, is this, we could come back. I think that we're gonna see other shows like this if this is successful. Like they'll do, because we said that What If show just felt like it was like they were just, it was spin-off City. It was about what they could spin off from that, and we were like
I mean, what if should have been all the things that they could never get away with on the big screen, but you can use this experimental space to do
Like,
experimental weird things.
I'm sure somewhere that a Captain Carter show like came up. Like I'm sure like if that character was more well liked, they're probably
Because, like, for example, they can't do a whole bunch of Spider-Man movies, but they have the rights to do them in TV shows. They could have done a whole bunch of what ifs for Spider-Man.
Not enough Spider-Man what ifs.
You could have had an Andrew Garfield one. You could have had a Tobey Maguire one. You could have. I mean, maybe there's some contractual reason for why they can't.
I'm pretty sure there is. Yeah. The reason why this is a show, yeah, is because they can only do Spider-Man on TV.
No, but I'm saying you could have had them in What If.
Yeah, I don't know.
As TV. They
seemed really.
You could have not called them. You could
reticent.
have not necessarily called them the movie versions, but you could have had the voice actors come in and voice a Spider-Man.
They didn't want to do that though. I think Spider-Man only ends up showing in like one in this zombie What If episode.
But yeah, it's frustrating.
Frustrating waste of potential. But yeah, this was pretty good. That's, to sum up, this was pretty good.
Pretty okay, not long enough.
No, but they're
even
all
even like
that. They're
even
all
like one
that.
or even like 1 or 2 more episodes to round out the story.
Right.
Again, I'm going under the assumption that this is it. So I'm
Same.
I'm talking
If
about
this is
on
it,
that
it's a bad
basis.
ending. It's a bad
Yeah.
ending. It's a bad. I don't like. Again, it's too open ended to be ambiguous. Like. People are saying, "Oh, it's meant to be ambiguous," but no. That's a lazy man's excuse for a bad cliffhanger ending.
Yep.
That's it. That's
I think that-
zombies. Hey there, everybody. It's NCard Justin here. Let me know down in the comments why I'm right and why there's no such thing as an acceptable cliffhanger and why they're all bad, every single one of them. Or you can just let me know what you thought about Marvel Zombies. You know, whatever floats your boat. But in the meantime, if you want to see our full zombie special, you click the box on the left. Or if you just want to see a random video that YouTube thinks you're going to enjoy, you click the box on the right. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. We put new videos out every single day. Or you can just leave us a like. That helps us out too. We will see you all in the next video. Have a good day, everybody.